Hi CMA students. So we are into the fourth lecture on MCQs practice. Yes, paper 7 direct tax we completed 75 MCQs till now. Now we are going to do it from 76 to 100 and hope you are preparing excellent. Pinpoint knowledge is the key to success. Crystal clear clarity is the key to success when it comes to MCQ exams, and we are working hard to build that clarity. Of course, we have taken classes from me, each and every point we discussed in detail. But for the benefit of all the students, I am uploading all the different MCQs. So listen carefully, practice with me, and take a notebook so that you can write all the important points along with me, so that you'll not miss a critical concept and you'll do great in the examination. So let's get started. Question number 76 is about rate of TDS on dividend under section 194. And you all know what is the rate of TDS? 10%. 194 section talks about dividend. On the dividend, 10% is the rate of TDS. Presently, for domestic companies, the companies will pay dividend distribution tax. And when companies pay dividend distribution tax, the dividends are exempt in the hands of shareholder. So in case of domestic companies, the companies will pay dividend distribution tax. So dividend is exempt in the hands of shareholders. So presently 194 is not in practice. The section is there as it is. Rate is there 10%, but it is not in practice. So if they simply ask what is the rate, you tell 10%. Okay, right. If they ask you a question like this, dividend from domestic company is dash in the hands of shareholders, you will write yes, in the hands of shareholders it is exempt. Now this question is actually not written correctly. There is fault in writing the question. This question is from clubbing of income, and they said if minor's income is clubbed in the hands of the parents, what is the exemption the parent will get? And the answer should be 1500 per annum per child. Now exemption is not given for how many children are there. Exemption is for how many children's income is clubbed in the hands of parent. Suppose 3 children's income is clubbed, then 1500 into 3 will be given as exemption to the parent. Question is wrong, right? So B should be the answer in this case if they ask such question. I explained with the intention and the concept and the right answer. Come to the 72nd question. Right. So what the 72nd question talks about? Accounts of the political party. Right. Accounts of the political party should be audited by whom? Accounts of any company are audited by chartered accountant. Any trust, any political party will be audited by chartered accountant only. Don't be emotional and write cost accountant. You will do mistake. Right? Cost accountant will do only cost audit. Right. 79th question. Loss from specified business. Hey, if specified business loss is there, you set off from specified business income only. Maybe the same specified business or other specified business. Right? So, specified business like cold chain facility, infrastructure projects, cross country pipelines, right? Affordable housing projects, hotel with 2-star or more accommodation, hospital with 100 beds or more, all are covered under such 14 items are covered under section 35 AD. And if there is a loss, set off is given, carry forward is given, but from specified business only. So what is the right answer? Income from other specified business. D is the right answer. If they would have given the options that loss from the same specified business, loss from other specified business, loss from any specified business. If they would have given options like this, you should write loss from any specified business. Specified business loss can be set off from any specified business. Correct. Very good. Come to the question number 80. Very important. ICDS. You all know ICDS 2 talks about what? ICDS 2 talks about inventory. ICDS 1 talks about accounting policies. ICDS 2 talks about inventory. ICDS 3 talks about construction contracts. ICDS 4 talks about revenue recognition. 1 accounting policy. Come on, memorize with me. 1 accounting policy. 2 inventory. 3 construction contracts. 4 revenue recognition. So here they asked ICDS 2. What is it? Inventory. What is the answer? D. Very good. Now come to ICDS 4. ICDS 4 we prepared, right? Revenue recognition. Option C is the right answer. Come on, next question. ICDS on income of foreign institutional investors from securities. Oh, sorry. I'm wrong. I'll read the question correctly. TDS. TDS on income of foreign institutional investors from securities. Now, TDS on income of foreign institutional investors from securities. So, if foreign institutional investors earn anything, what is the rate of TDS? This is not in your syllabus. This is for final. So let us leave it. It is non-resident taxation in final chapter. So we will not discuss about it. Come to the next question. 83rd question. TDS on commission other than insurance commission. Any commission 5% only. Come on. Is it insurance commission? Is it lottery commission? Is it other commission? Whenever they talk about commission, TDS on commission 5% you remember. So option A is the right answer. Come on, next question. 84th question we are into. Come on, everybody, let us try to do it fast. As per ICDS 2, yes, it is about valuation of inventory. What are the right? Their recognition is done in which method? What are the costing methods followed? Weighted average method, FIFO method. Weighted average method, FIFO method. So how many methods? There are two methods only. Weighted FIFO. Weighted FIFO. FIFO full form, first in, first out. FIFO full form, first in, first out. Okay. Weighted average method, FIFO method. Only two methods are recognized. So option A, 2 is the right answer. Wonderful. We are into the 85th question. We are doing great, fast, super. So what is it? Mr. Pankaj, partner of PKG, is accessible as Pankaj is individual, right? So he is accessible as individual. Very silly question. B answer. Very good. Sometimes very simple questions they ask, and we try to find complexity out of it. Never do such mistake. Observe the things as it is a wonderful tool. If you observe the things as it is, then you will be able to solve many problems in life and, of course, professional exams and careers too. Observe the things as it is. Don't try to exaggerate it. Don't try to ignore it. Observe things as it is. Okay. Let's come to 86th question. In case of local authority, the return of income is verified by, of course, we discussed that if it is company, the managing director will, if it is company, the managing director will verify. But if it is municipality, local authority, in Hyderabad, we call it as Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. Maharashtra, you know, okay, Maharashtra, there are so many. In Bombay, Bombay Municipal Corporation, very famous. For all the wrong things in the world, they are famous, right? They don't remember their works, they remember only something else, right? So 86th question, what is the right answer? Principal officer. For municipality, who should file the returns? Principal officer should file the return. Wonderful. Let's go to the next question. 87th question. In case of self-occupied house property, following category of persons who will live in self-occupied house property, who want residential property. Yes, family or individuals, yes or no? That's why HUF and family, individual and family, HUF is the right answer. So what is the next? What is the answer? 87. Do companies require any residential house? No. So what is the right answer? Individual and HUF require self-occupied house property. They only will get the exemption of self-occupied house property. 87 the answer. 88. Come on, let's go to the next question. Amortization of preliminary expenses has been restricted to dash, restricted to 5% of the cost of the project. Restricted to how much? Cost of the 5% of cost of project. You know, section 35D. Section 35D covers amortization of preliminary expenses. Now, how much preliminary expenses are allowed? Actual preliminary expenditure or 5% of cost of project, whichever is lower is allowed as deduction, and that too it is allowed in 5 equal installments. So come on, remember what is the section number? 35D. 35D talks about amortization of preliminary expenses. What is the deduction given? 5% of cost of project or yes, actual expenditure whichever is lower. And how many installments the deduction is given? In 5 equal installments. So here what is the restriction? 5% of the cost of project. That is option C is right answer. 88th one, option C. Now come to 89th question. I know I'm little fast. I know you are able to catch my speed. Right? If you let's go to the next question. 89th question. Unabsorbed business loss. When we talk about business loss, cannot be carried forward for more than. Generally, business loss is carried forward for 8 years. So, cannot be carried forward beyond 8 years. That's all. Right? If it is speculative loss, 4 years. Specified business loss, unlimited number of years. Normal business loss, maximum 8 years. Beyond 8 years, you cannot carry forward. So, what is the right answer? Option C. 89, option C. 90th question. 90th question, there is a thing to be considered. What is it? Coverage of best judgment assessment is under which section? 144 section covers best judgment assessment. If you read scrutiny assessment, 143 section. Yes or no? So best judgment assessment 144. Best judgment assessment 140. Next question, 91st question. What is the question talking about? Monetary limit for exemption in the case of encashment of earned leave on superannuation, that means basically retirement, okay, received by private sector employee. So for private sector employee, maximum 3 lakhs is given under leave encashment. Leave encashment, you remember, list of the following four, right? List of the following four, what are they? Actual leave encashment. Second one, rupees 3 lakhs. Third one, 10 into average monthly salary. Fourth one, unearned leave into average monthly salary. You remember? So 3 lakhs is the maximum deduction given for a private sector employee. Of course, if it is a government sector employee, then 100% of the amount is exempt. Government sector employee, 100% is exempt. Okay. So there is no limit like up to 3 lakhs it is exempt. Right? Total leave encashment received is fully exempt for government employee. But here they asked private. So up to how much? 3 lakhs. So what is the right option? C. Okay, 91 C. Come to the 92nd question. Are you eagerly, energetically ready to learn? I feel yes. Come on, concentrate. So deduction is not allowed to the assessee while computing income from other sources. Direct tax, income tax will never give deduction. You all remember. Interest payable outside India, it is given deduction, but without TDS. So not given deduction. Personal expenses, obviously nowhere it is given deduction. All the above. So all the three, no deduction is allowed. Under which section this is covered? Section 58. Section 58 is the disallowance section for other sources. Section 58 is the disallowance section for other sources. Come on, what is the section for disallowances under other sources? 58. Come on, can anybody write in the comment section what is the disallowance section for PGBP? Section 40 is the right answer. Okay, come to the next question. 93rd question, which I am going to share with you. When Mr. Balu paid royalty to, okay, Dr. Peter of Sweden for use of know-how in India, such payment is, oh, when we are making payment outside India, can we exempt that person? The answer is such payment is exempt from tax, not at all. Accruing in India, yes, it will accrue in India because section 9 says deemed to accrue or arise in India. Section 9 talks about deemed to accrue or arise in India. Section 9 talks about deemed to accrue or arise in India. Come on, let's go to the next section. 94th section. Okay, 94th question. Yes, you will be able to see this better, I feel now. 94th question. For me, it is better anyhow now. Okay. What is the 94th question? Mr. Hari, resident in India, received rupees 11 lakhs by way of dividend from Indian company. Such dividend is, generally dividend is exempt. But if the dividend is more than 10 lakhs, under section 115 BBDA, under which section? Come on, repeat with me. 115 BBDA. It is taxable at how much? Excess of 10 lakhs is taxable at 10%. So options are not correctly drafted. So you remember the right answer. Up to 10 lakhs it is fully exempt. More than 10 lakhs, the extra amount is taxable at the rate 10%. Under which section? That also you know, right? 115 BBDA. Very good. Now come to the 95th question. When an employee receives money on closure of National Pension Trust or National Pension System Trust, NPS Trust, we can say, then how much is exempt? Right? Trust. It is chargeable to tax? No, it is not fully chargeable. So this is wrong answer. Exempt from tax? It is not fully exempt. 40% is exempt from tax. This is right answer in the last examination. But because of the amendment, the right answer is D. Presently 60% is exempt from tax. That means 60% is exempt for your exams, 40% is taxable for your exam. So when you withdraw the money from NPS trust, 60% is exempt for your exams for assessment year 2021 and 40% is taxable. Please remember. Come on, let's go to the next question. 96th question. I know you are able to enjoying these things. Do share the love by subscribing to the channel, like the video and comment below how you felt. Come on, come to the 96th question. When employer contributes to approved superannuation fund, it is chargeable to tax as perquisites when the contribution exceeds. There was an amendment few years back and they made that it exceeds 1,50,000, then it is taxable as perquisite. So what is the right answer? 1,50,000. How much is the right answer? 1,50,000. So up to 1,50,000 it is exempt. After that it is taxable. Suppose example 1,80,000 is contributed. So 1,50,000 is exempt. So 30,000 is taxable. This type of question may also come in your examination. So if employer contributes to superannuation fund up to 1,50,000, it is exempt. More than that, it is taxable. From which chapter? Salary. Very good. 96th question we did. Hey, do share this video with your friends on Facebooks as well as those who are doing CMA through different WhatsApp groups so that people can get the benefit of it, and that too in English language, the language of your examinations, right? 97th question. Long term capital gain arising from transfer of unlisted securities in the hands of non-resident. Okay, there is foreign company is chargeable to tax, right? If it is a non-resident foreign company, long-term capital gain, what is the rate of tax? You all remember? Forgot? Chalo, I'll read the question for you. Long-term capital gain arising from transfer of unlisted securities. You are transferring, you are selling unlisted securities. And you remember, under section 112A, presently what is the rate? 10%. Right? If you are selling the shares, unlisted securities in the hands of shareholder, okay, non-resident foreign company, what is the rate? 10%, 10%, 10%. Okay, right. 97, 10%. Okay. Now 98th question. Come on, everybody, be with me. Startup company के बारे में question है. And it is under 80 IAC, income based deduction. We remember that 80 IAC in the block of 7 years, in the block of how many years? 7 years, they give 3 years as 100% deduction of income. That means you earn 100 crores. Then 80 IAC says, yeah, 100 crores is deductible. You need not pay any single rupee tax. But what they said, for startup companies under 80 IAC, deduction is given in a block of 7 years. First 7 years. How many years deduction is given? 3 years. But any 3 years is wrong answer. What is right answer? 3 consecutive years. 3 consecutive years. 3 continuous years. So you can take first, second, third as 3 years. Or you can take fourth, fifth, sixth as 3 years. Or you can take fifth, sixth, seventh as 3 years. It's your choice. But that 3 should be consecutive years. And in a block of how many? In a block of first 7 years. 80 IAC benefit is given. So what is the right answer here? 3 years is the right answer. So remember 3 consecutive years in the first 7 years. Right? 98th question done. Only 2 questions left. Come on, concentrate, don't miss. Now what they said? Here it is regarding return filing, and the question is wrong because it relates to the 17-18 year. For us, what should be the right answer? If you talk about 139 subsection 4, it talks about belated return, revised return. 139 subsection 4 talks about what? Belated return, revised return. 139 subsection 1, what it talks about? Tell me. Write comment below in the comments. Yes, due date for filing returns. 139 subsection 3, loss return. 139 subsection 4, belated return or revised return. So within how much time it should be filed? Suppose example, your previous year is 1920. Previous year is 2019, 2020. So belated return or revised return under 139 subsection 4 should be filed before the end of the assessment year, that is before 31st March 2021. If your previous year is 1920, write down previous year 1920, and assessment year is 2020, 2021. Belated return or revised return should be filed before 31st March 2021. Okay, so I do consider this question as totally wrong, irrelevant for you. Question should have been properly updated, they did not do, but I am here to do it for you, right? So let us work on the 100th question. Now, when copyright is acquired for rupees 50 lakhs, right, on 10th November 2016 and used from 1st December 2016, the amount of depreciation under section 32 is. Now section 32, you would have seen that there is something called as intangible assets, yes or no? Section 32 covers intangible assets like goodwill, patent, copyright, royalty, right? All that is covered. So goodwill, patent, copyright, know-how, trademark, loom rights, 32 covers so many. Now, what is the rate of depreciation on intangible assets? 25%. What is the rate? 25%. But if the asset is put to use for less than 180 days in a year, for less than 180 days in a year, because here you see December 1st it was put to use, right? So December, January, February, March, only 4 months it was put to use. And 4 months is equal to how much? If you want to exactly calculate the days also, you can calculate. But 4 months average 120 days, right? So less than 180 days, so half depreciation. Let us calculate. 50 lakhs is the royalty for copyright, correct? Into 25% is the rate of depreciation. So how much it will come to? 12 lakh 50,000, correct? Into half, right? 1 by 2. Into half, that is 1 by 2. How much it will come to? 6 lakhs 25,000. How much? 6 lakhs 25,000. So this way you have to revise. Next video we'll meet and do 101 to 125. So do connect every day, listen to 25 MCQs. Your concepts will be thorough. You will be able to recollect all the concepts excellently. So make utilization of these videos and help others in using these videos by sharing to them. Thank you all for the listening and we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care and take care of your health.